Talk about pressure to do a video. One of you here put it very bluntly. Chris, wacha kulenga hii kitu inaitwa virus ya corona. The government does not care. Kenya, kwisha. And Chris, you're not saying anything. Now, at least some of you guys know that it is not my intention to rehash and recycle information and views that you can get elsewhere. But even as I was trying to organize myself to respond with my second video on this issue, yes, I already have one other, events started moving at a very rapid rate in Kenya. On Wednesday this week, 26th February 2020, a Southern airline plane from China was allowed to land in the country. Kenyans right across the nation were outraged. Several people rushed to court. And as all this drama was unfolding, nobody noticed the small details. Like the fact that the aircraft sat on the tarmac for 1 hour without anybody being allowed to disembark. You can imagine, frantic calls were being made all over the place. Wakubwa walipigiwa simu. And finally, all 239 passengers on that aircraft were allowed to disembark. And after some screening for the deadly virus that originated in China, they were allowed into the country. And we are told, that they gave their word. They gave their word that they'll self-quarantine. They'll isolate themselves for at least 2 weeks to confirm that they're okay, that they were not just carriers of the disease and the symptoms had not yet manifested. Self-quarantine. Stay away from the public. Stay away from public places. Stay indoors for at least 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm sure the person in the Kenyan government who was facilitating all this gave a huge sigh of relief and assumed that story was over. Wameingia. Hiyo maneno imeisha. The drama had just started. Some hawk-eyed and very observant Kenyans noticed that some of the Chinese who had come on that flight and had ended up in an apartment somewhere in Athi River were seen walking around. Kwani quarantine ni ya kuzurura. And these Kenyans raised the alarm in the best way they knew how. And then the Chinese government started behaving like many powerful foreign governments behave when they're operating in Africa, the dark continent. And they started playing those games that these governments usually play with the Kenyan public. Or the Chinese that were seen in public were taking food and supplies to those who had self-quarantined. There is no problem. There is no issue here. And in any case, they were wearing face masks. And then some residents of Athi River said, Ati what? Ati the Chinese were wearing face masks. But these guys have been wearing this thing long before these coronavirus manenos emerged to protect themselves from the dust. You see, the Athi River Kitengela area is very dusty. And of course, some Kenyans have been doing their own research online. The world is connected through the World Wide Web. And they knew very well that vitu kwa ground in China, as far as quarantine is concerned, is very different. Hakuna story ya loitering around just because you have a face mask. In fact, government officials have been shown in some viral videos welding the front door of houses to ensure people don't get out. Bottom line, the Chinese are using a very different rule book in Kenya from the one they're using back in their own country, in China. And then another super fascinating press release from the Chinese embassy in Kenya, warning the Kenyan public against discriminating, including racial discrimination against Chinese nationals in the country. Now, hold on a minute. There have been problems major problems with Kenyans complaining that the Chinese are racial. Yeah, they are racially discriminating their hosts, Kenyans. And apart from the complaints, we have seen solid evidence. You remember the viral video of a Chinese man calling our leaders monkeys? Kweli, vindu vichenjanga. The truth is, very many Chinese people come into this country, not all of them, but many of them have been treating Kenyans like trash. Now, under very unfortunate circumstances, the tables seem to have been turned. Kenyans are so scared that walking in the streets, some of them see Chinese people approaching, a group of Chinese walking, approaching, and they hurriedly cross the road. And it has nothing to do with racial discrimination. Because today, God forbid, if it is announced that a certain community within Kenya has been hit very hard by this virus called corona, basic human instincts will dictate that that community will start to be treated in exactly the same way the Chinese are being treated. It's normal. Normal human behavior to be expected under the circumstances. Now, without supporting the decisions and the actions of the Kenyan government over the last few days, let us try and understand what is going on here. The good book, the Holy Bible, in Proverbs 22:7 says the following: the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. Now notice, it is not a servant to the lender. It is a slave to the lender. Now I've been bashed by some people on this channel that I introduce religion into this channel. And people belong to various different religions. Now. That is not true. I have no interest in religion. I talk a lot about spiritual laws on this channel because I have not only read and studied them, I have seen them unfold before my very eyes. I quote from the Holy Scriptures, because it carries teachings, tips for success, etc., that have stood the test of time. They have never been proven wrong, despite new theories and new tips coming out all the time. And a very good example is from this verse I've just quoted. Because any financial expert will tell you that debt is a tool. You can borrow money and become rich. But the Holy Scriptures tell us the borrower is a slave to the lender. Period. And so, the truth, the bitter truth that is difficult to accept, is that because we've got such a large debt, we owe China so much money, it seems that we're already slaves to the people who have lent us money. Even on a personal level, somebody who has lent you a lot of money and you've already made your plans for Saturday, calls you on Saturday morning and talks very politely to you. Hey, I have a problem. Please help me out. I need you to come to this and this place and do this favor for me. And if you hesitate, they can easily tell you, this money which I lent you. And before they finish their sentence, you'll be there, helping them out with whatever they need. And so I'm imagining the Chinese government calling the Kenyan government and saying, hey, we'd like to land our aircraft in Kenya. We're having problems landing elsewhere. But can you do us that favor? We want to land in Kenya. If it was you, how would you react? Will you tell them that debt is an important tool for development and getting rich? And then there's another consideration. And this is from the first part of that verse, Proverbs 22:7, that I've quoted, where it says the rich rule over the poor. And it is simply this. People who don't have money take big risks. Yeah. They are ruled by those who have the money. You have not paid rent, and then somebody comes up with a deal for you. Yeah. I have a sick patient. Yeah, they have something contagious. Tuberculosis, TB. Yeah, but it can be controlled. So I want you to do me a favor. Yeah, I know you have an extra bedroom in your house. I want you to house them there. They will have a nurse taking care of them. The room will always be kept locked. Yeah, and I know that room is en suite. It has a toilet and bathroom, etc. And I'll pay you 50,000 shillings a month for your troubles. If you agree, I'm going to M-Pesa immediately to you, to your phone, 50,000 Kenya shillings. And then you can start this deal tomorrow. Now you have your children in the house, you have your wife, but you have not paid rent. And suddenly, you have this deal. Yeah, a way out. Will you stick to your principles? Will you protect your family and reject the deal? Boss, landlord hataki principles, anataka pesa. Now, here's a disclaimer. I must emphasize, I have no inside information. I have no idea why the Kenyan government took such a huge risk in allowing a plane to land in the country. I don't. I have no inside information and I have no idea why the same government which has refused to evacuate Kenyans who are stuck in China while other countries have done that. The same government that has warned Kenyans against traveling to China allowed an aircraft from China to land in the country and told us there's no problem. I have no idea. All I'm doing is using principles from a book I believe in 1,000%, 1,000,000%, to put the situation into perspective. That is all I'm doing in this video. Now, I've already given out my very controversial views on this virus called corona, complete with a prediction of what will happen from the same person who predicted it long before it arrived. And if you look on the top right hand corner of your screen, you will see a link to that video I did recently. Click on that link, put that video aside, and when you're through here, you can go and take that one in. Now, admittedly, this problem of pandemics is not new to the world. It has happened throughout the history of man. That is true. It is also accurate to say that throughout the history of man, every century, 2 or 3 serious pandemics hit mankind. However, this time round, things are elephant. And one of the reasons why things are elephant is because of the very busy international flights we have on the globe. An infected person does not need to travel anywhere to spread a disease globally. All they need to do is to make an appearance at an airport, any busy airport, and within hours, that thing, whatever it is, will have landed in very many different corners of the globe. That is the huge challenge we have with this latest crisis. On another note, I know I've shocked very many of you by telling you that debt is not a tool for getting rich. What debt does is that it makes you a slave, period. And I'm sure some of you are saying, Chris is crazy. Now how am I going to start that car business? How am I going to buy a house? How am I going to buy land? And I'm not corrupt. Or more accurately, I don't have access to corruption money, quick money. Well, I've talked at length on that subject right here on this channel. And if you look on the top right-hand corner of your screen, you will see a link to a playlist, a special playlist I've prepared for you, of very many videos I've made giving you ideas, strategies, and real-life experiences where people have overcome with no money They've been able to build up their portfolio. Yeah, land, houses, etc., etc., business, without borrowing money, yeah, and becoming a slave to somebody. If you're interested, if you believe me and you're interested, yeah, again, you can click on that link, put that video aside, and when you're through here, yeah, you can go and take it in and change your life and do your things in this life according to principles proven by time, yeah, from the good book, so that as an individual you avoid being ruled over by others. I have one last recommendation to make, yeah, something that helped me a great deal to understand, yeah, spiritual things, and especially what is unfolding on the planet right now, and the very scary things that are yet to come. Yeah, if you still say, oh, Chris, religion, wake up, too. Yeah, those who are interested, I'm not talking about religion. There is a fascinating movie which was produced a few years ago called The Passion of the Christ, depicting an event that actually happened, a historical event that is so significant, was so significant, that if you ever want to even start to understand what is going down and what will go down in the years to come, you must take in this movie. When this movie first came out, yeah, we didn't have a lot of online stuff. YouTube was just starting. But what I did is that I took my whole family to the 20th century cinema to watch this movie. And I hoped and I prayed that they would all understand, that they would all see. And that is the same prayer I have for you, that you will understand and you will see. The movie, and it was a Hollywood movie, is titled The Passion of the Christ. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.